I don't know you very well yet because you've only had, this is your third lesson maybe? Hold on. Oh, third lesson, no. Today's your fourth lesson. Oh. Last time was your third lesson. So I don't know for sure if what I'm going to say is going to actually be helpful for you or not.
Any help?
But hopefully it will be helpful. If it's not, then sorry about that. But it also might not be helpful right now, and then later you might rewatch this, and it is helpful once you have more understanding under your belt. Mm-hmm. So, okay, actually, let me grab this too, because sometimes a 3D model is really helpful for understanding. Sorry. I think he likes you. Hasn't he come down here before during your lesson? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you're singing, we're always trying to improve the way we're functioning within our vocal tract, mm-hmm. which our vocal tract begins with our larynx, which is right here. You can feel this where your voice is coming from. Mm-hmm. It's where your vocal folds are, and it's like the bottom of it is somewhere around here. Mm-hmm. And the vocal tract ends with your lips, which are here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So the larynx right here, or some people call it an Adam's apple or a voice box, this is, I think it's 2.5 times bigger than a real larynx. But this is the thyroid notch. That's what you feel or see, like on a male, you'll see an Adam's apple. That's this thyroid notch. So this is the way the larynx is facing forward. The larynx is inside. So this would be like if you could cut off your head and look down inside, this is what you would see. And so this still here is called the epiglottis. And this is like a picture of it, the epiglottis. So this is facing like this, outside. And this is the side view of the epiglottis, this little flap here, can you see that? And so the epiglottis can go down or up, and you see the tongue, the base of the tongue is attached to the epiglottis. See that? It's like, to me, seeing pictures of the tongue is really illuminating because it's so big. Like, I think of the tongue as being maybe like this much.
It's massive.
Yeah, it fills up the whole mouth and goes all the way down to the epiglottis right above the vocal folds. And so this, like I said, is called the larynx. The larynx is located inside of the pharynx, and the pharynx is just a fancy word for throat. But you should say pharynx from now on because your mom, is paying for these lessons, and
she's gonna be real surprised I know that word.
She needs to see some bang for her buck. And so this pharynx, you can see how the tongue takes up so much space, and like here's the soft palate. The voice is coming up because the air from the trachea comes up, goes through the vocal folds, and then comes out the lips, right? But see how tiny of a space this is where the tongue is? So one thing we can do is keep the tip of the tongue pressed down against the roots
That's
of the
my
lower
other
teeth.
problem, is when I was staying there, I was like, I need to figure out how to move this down.
Yeah, so for all vowels, the tip should go down against the roots of the lower teeth.
Ahs are my problem. Oohs and e's.
You can keep it.
But for some reason, ahs are the problem. I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure that one out yet.
Well, hopefully we will figure that one out. But yeah, so that for every vowel, the tip of the tongue will go down, which helps, you can imagine, create more space here, right? As opposed to the tongue being like attached or right beside the roof of the mouth. And the thing I really want to focus on with you, though, is opening your pharynx. And so the pharynx is divided into 3 sections. Like this is usually called the laryngeal pharynx because it's by the larynx, and the oropharynx is by the mouth, behind the mouth. So that's the part we really want to focus on for you. So we want this soft palate. I can't see. We want this soft palate and the uvula to ascend and retract. And we want this back part of the pharynx here to go backwards if we can. Stretch it open. And this is hard to conceive because most people haven't heard of this information or like seen a lot of pictures of this kind of thing. So I'm hoping that kind of sets the scene for this to make sense, what I'm about to say. This is the whole point of all this explanation.
I might know some of this, I might not. It all depends. Choir was weird, but our choir director was very good at what he did.
Oh, good.
And he did teach us enough.
A lot.
Yeah.
Good. A good choir teacher is invaluable.
He didn't treat us like children.
Oh.
He treated us like adults.
This was in high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
He treated us like adults.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So here, do you recognize this?
Yep.
Do you know what this is?
Tongue?
No, but close. That's the epiglottis.
Ah!
They look so similar.
They do!
From
that angle.
Like from this angle, the top angle of the epiglottis.
You can tell.
It looks like a
Yeah.
tongue, but it's not.
Got it.
So that's the epiglottis, which is like right
Mhm.
here. And these are the vocal folds, which
Mhm.
are, so it's like right underneath the epiglottis. And then this is the back or the posterior pharyngeal wall,
Big
or
words.
the back. Make sure you memorize these words.
Yeah.
You want to get your money's worth out of me. So you can use these in front of people and impress them. So the posterior pharyngeal wall here and the epiglottis, do you see how you could almost say they look like a taco shell? And so we can choose deliberately to contract the pharyngeal wall and pull the pharyngeal wall and the epiglottis closer together, like a really small taco shell. That's bad news.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do
and
that.
I can feel when I do that.
Yes, so remember how you just were saying you use the word crackly for your tone sometimes when you're going for a high note? So you can just imagine all of these surfaces, the epiglottis, the pharyngeal wall, the vocal folds, the aryepiglottic sphincter here, which is this like round shape, they all are covered in tissues. Your mucosal membrane tissues, which are very sensitive and delicate, and you're pushing these tissues together and creating vibrations, and you're rubbing the tissues together when you do that. Like any of these tissues that come together, that can be irritating. So if we can think of stretching apart, that's what we want. Can you try that just right now? Do you feel that stretch back here?
That's the problem. I
So-
just can't consistently figure it out when I'm saying.
I don't know. So an explanation like that with these pictures and this model, does that feel helpful to you or not really?
Yeah,
This is the epiglottis
and it
again.
doesn't hurt to know the technical terms.
Yeah. So for me, understanding the way the mechanism is working is really helpful. It's not necessary though,
Yeah.
but I think it's helpful. So, okay, I want to try this exercise again, and I just want you to think of trying to let your pharyngeal wall expand backwards as far as it can.
I also have a posture problem.
You're so hard on yourself.
Well, no,
You have
there are
so
certain
many
things I have
problems,
figured
according
out
to
through
you.
the years, and my posture is a big problem. That's part of the reason my breath control kind of sucks.
Oh, are you
Is
feel a little...
I kind of hunch over,
Mhm.
or my shoulders hunch, but I have to remind myself to like stand up straight. But
Stand
sometimes I
up
forget.
straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look, in the mirror, you look like you're standing up pretty tall.
Because I'm thinking about it. When
Well,
I stop
that's good.
thinking about it is when I
It
slouch.
goes away.